Get off me! That's my purse! I don't know you!
Call me a
Let's go.
Hey heathens, it's Gundidi, and this week I got something cool for you. But before we get into that, let's go over a little history so that way you know where this is coming from. So in the late 1800s, the United States went to war with Spain. We fought against Spain in many places, but one of the places was in the Philippines. Well, while in the Philippines, we were going against a native tribe there called the Moros. Those guys were big, bulky natives who wore bamboo body armor and were attacking our guys in bull rush formations. And they would use a guerrilla warfare style tactic, hide in the brush and bull rush our guys. Well, our guys' traditional sidearm at the time was a .38 Smith & Wesson revolver. Great revolver, but not enough oomph to knock down these larger natives, especially when they're wearing some kind of body armor. Well, in our very early 1900s, the United States realized that .45 was the bare minimum caliber you needed for a service weapon. So they started a trial for a new service weapon, which quite a few companies chimed in on. Two of the major companies that made it all the way to the final trials were a company called Savage Arms and Colt. At the time, in the early 1900s, this is about 1907, you have the military trials where you have Colt going against Savage, and it was looking like Savage might take the win on this. Savage ended up losing because the Colt, after 10,000 rounds, had no malfunctions, but the Savage 1907 had about 37 malfunctions on it. One of them was critical. So, that being said, the military chose the 1911, which was adopted in 1911. Savage, being as smart as they are, instead of trying to compete against Colt in the standard market, they came out with a new pistol chambered in a smaller caliber and marketed it towards women's protection. And that is the 1907 pistol. It is a great little pistol, great for women carry, great for even people to conceal carry. In about 1915, they did some revamps of it, and they came out with this pistol that we're reviewing today. This is the model 1915 from Savage. It is a neat little striker-fired pistol. Now, when you think striker-fired, you automatically think of Glock. But Glock came out in the 80s. This guy came out in 1915. It was a double-stack, 10-round magazine, 32 ACP striker-fired pistol. Couple of design differences between this and the 1907 is it does not have an exposed hammer back here, which the hammer really wasn't anything but a striker indicator because even the 1907 was a striker fired pistol. But this one is the 1915. It's got a nice little grip safety here. Very nice and convenient for everyday carry. It's got a really neat design. I think this is a good looking pistol. There's no rivets to be seen. There's very few pins. The sights are milled into the sight or slide. And you know, it's just a simple gun during a simple time. Great pistol for your everyday carry. A lot of people were advertising for it. People like Bill Hickok and a bunch of other big names in the time were advertising for Savage for this guy. But its primary source was marketed for women's protection. And that's because it is a small pocketable pistol, holds 10 rounds, and very easy to shoot because it's 32 ACP. You gotta love John Moses Browning because he came out with some amazing ammunitions back then. But nonetheless, this is a really neat pistol, and we're going to put some rounds through it and see how she shoots and see if it really lives up to that perfect for women carry. So let's go ahead and put some rounds in this guy and see how she shoots. All right, so we got this guy loaded up, but before we get into it, I want to go over a couple more things. First thing first, the 1907 and the 1915 and even the 1917 were all designed by one guy. His name was Albert Searle. He did pretty much all of the semi-autos for Savage at the time. And he doesn't get enough credit, so I really wanted to put his name out there so that way you guys can look him up and see what he's done. But another thing is, this pistol is a semi-rare pistol because the 1915 was only made for 2 years, and that was 1915 and 1916. In 1917, they revamped the design again and discontinued the 1915. So this isn't a very popular gun, and it's kind of hard to find because there isn't too many out there. But I got my hands on one, and it is mine, so I'm gonna shoot it and have some fun with it. But let's go ahead and put some rounds through it and see how that recoil impulse feels on this guy. So it is a very tiny gun, so it's kind of hard to get a nice two-hand grip on there, but it really wasn't designed for that. But let's go ahead and shoot a couple rounds this way, and then we'll shoot it the way it was really designed to be shot. Very low recoiling. Extremely accurate. I mean, I'm about 10 yards away from my target and really don't have to think about it too hard. But let's go ahead and shoot one-handed and see how she does. Let's go ahead and get a little close so you guys can see that recoil. Definitely a very nice shooting pistol. It's very comfortable, easy to shoot, and perfect for a female carry pistol. Granted, this gun is rare, so I don't know if you want your wife carrying it for daily carry, but it is neat that back in the early 1900s, they were thinking about females carrying pistols too. They weren't just saying it was a duty for a man to protect a woman. They were letting women protect themselves. All right, so there is a last round hold open on this guy, but it doesn't always work. So, like I said, it doesn't always work. This is over a 100-year-old gun. I mean, this gun was made in 1915. So I'm not expecting everything to work perfect on this gun, but it is a very neat pistol. Definitely something cool to if you ever get your hands on, definitely something cool to check out. But let's go ahead and put a couple more rounds in it and see how she shoots rapidly. All right, so we got 10 more rounds of 32 ACP. It is a very small pistol cartridge, smaller than 380. So very low recoiling and effective enough for close distances. That's really what this pistol was used for. Another thing is this is a self-defense pistol. It's not designed to be shot like a target pistol. It's designed to be pulled from a purse or pulled from concealment and just blasted. So let's go ahead and see how she does. So if someone was walking up on me and they were threatening my life, it would be very simple to draw this pistol, knock off the safety, and just go and dump all the rounds right into him if I needed to. That's what this pistol was really designed for. It was designed for women to protect themselves. It was designed for people to protect themselves. It is a small pistol. It was definitely in competition with the Colt 1907 pocket pistol. It was a stiff competition, but the 1907 and the 1917 did really well for themselves. The 1915, like I said, was only made for 2 years, so unfortunately, not too many people got their hands on this specific pistol. But the pistol itself, the design itself, was a proved concept that kind of stood the test of time. I mean, this is over 100 years old, and this gun is phenomenal. It shoots really well. It's very fast, very low in recoiling, and she's pretty for being 100 years old. I mean, God, look at how gorgeous she is. Not too many guns can last as long as this pistol has. There are quite a few, especially made in the early 1900s. There are a lot of guns that could stand the test of time because they were a full steel framed gun. Nowadays we have a lot of polymer guns, and makes it to where over time they will probably degrade and not function very well. But there's still Glocks out there that are shooting just fine today. So who knows? But definitely a really neat concept, a really cool pistol. In 1915, when this gun was introduced, I'm sure this was a very hot ticket item because it is a small pocketable gun that anyone can shoot very well. Granted, there were things like the 1907 vest pocket. There was the Baby Browning little 25 auto. There was even Colt had their little Baby Colt out there that was in 25 auto. So there's plenty of options for concealed carry and low recoiling. But this gun's a little easier to manage because it is a fuller size pistol. This is probably closer to the 1907 vest pocket, but I don't have a vest pocket to shoot side by side to see how they feel. If I ever get one, we'll definitely reinterpret this video down the road. But it's definitely a cool pistol. I think it's a piece of history that is forgotten because Colt was such a huge name in the early 1900s that people forgot about smaller companies that were true American companies like Savage Arms. This pistol sold very well in France, though. They shipped them over to France, and the French started using them for their military and, their police forces and civilian carry over there. I'm a fan of the Savage 1915, 1907s. I think they're good-looking pistols, and honestly, they're really good pistols. They function really well. But yet again, the Colt is the namesake. So one day, maybe I'll get my hands on a vest pocket and we'll reinterpret this video. But for now, this is a cool little pistol, cool little piece of history, and I think you guys will enjoy it. All right, guys, if you like that video, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know in the comment section if you've ever shot a 1907 or a 1915, and let me know what you guys think. Is 32 a viable cartridge? And as always, I'm Gunditi, and I'll see you heathens for the next one.
I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Oh! And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. You call me a god. You call me a god.